2 weeks ago, I asked my community for questions for this official second Q&A, as well as tier lists to discuss, and my oh my, I got way more submissions than I bargained for, so let's just get right into this. Hey everybody, my name is Alex Disventure Camp, and today this will be the official second Q&A, as well as discussing tier lists, and this is also a subscriber special, so thank you all to this exact milestone this is. In any case, a few things to note. First off, this background footage is not owned by me, it is owned by Animation Cartoons. Additionally, I have my own personal opinions on this Disventure Camp scattered throughout the video, and if you have different, that is completely fine. And lastly, I do sections of my videos to maintain organization and simplicity. First, it'll be just the Q&A, all the questions and stuff like that, and then we'll move on to a discussion of the tier lists, and then we'll move on to the conclusion. Alrighty, let's just get right into this.
But thanks for worrying about me.
Of course, bestie! I have got back now, see you later!
For this, I'll be going from the personal channel / other series questions, and then I'll move on to the Disventure Camp questions. Here are the Diamond, Nishan, Awesome, 9905, Jaden, TD, and Nugister asked what / how got you into Disventure Camp, and how long have you been into the Disventure Camp fandom? I was born one Saturday, and I was scrolling through YouTube. Nothing caught my eye till I saw the pilot for Disventure Camp Season 2 recommended, and I thought it looked cool. So I watched the episode, thought it was fine, and moved on. This is how I watched Disventure Camp Season 2 episodes till episode 5. Something to note was at the time, my favorite character was Yule, so you'd think that his elimination would be the time I got, out of the series, but I found it so interesting they were willing to boot their apparent main antagonist so early. Maybe not the best time to get into the series, but regardless, I have been here since I think it's early 2022, so around 2 to 3 years at this rate, yeah. Axel Perilous 9271 asks, how did you start YouTube? I was born one Saturday and thought to watch some Disventure Camp content, though nowadays we have some great quality creators in this community. Back in 2023, that wasn't fully the case. All I could really find when searching was reactions, and no offense to the reactors out there, but that isn't my content style to watch or create usually. So I thought if the content I wanted to watch, Analyses, didn't exist, I would make it myself. And yeah, it was rough in the beginning, but I have tried to keep that same value, and it has managed to grow and continue till today. Moral of these stories, my life changes when I'm bored on Saturdays. Natalie Beatrice DeJong 8771 and Axel Paris 9271 asks, favorite movie? The Hunger Games Catching Fire. Toad's King favorite show? I don't really have a favorite show, more so favorite seasons of shows, so I'd say Total Drama World Tour, Disventure Camp Season 1, and Insanity Season 3, Stranger Things Season 2, The Owl House Season 2, and Season 3. Pink Lemonades 31326, it's this I handle. What's your biggest pet peeve regarding TD / Disventure Camp / other Total Drama fan shows? Love triangles / squares, though this is more overall in shows. I despise love triangles with every fiber of my being, because 99% of the time, it's only there to delay the two in it from getting together, making it a drag and annoying mess. Usually, they also make one match so incredibly obvious, they're not gonna go end up with them. It ruins whatever suspense or intrigue a love triangle could create. Not even mentioning sometimes one person is in it is such a trash person. It's why are they even waiting for them? This isn't more specific to Total Drama or anything, or Disventure Camp or anything, but in multiple other shows I've seen, that's an issue. Squares is honestly worse. Just take a look at Miraculous Ladybug, and I don't think I need to explain further. I don't think that's actually a square. That's probably some hexagon. Quiet One 92 asks, are you planning on doing a rewrite of Disventure Camp All-Stars and follow-ups on your what-ifs, including Disventure Camp All-Stars? Yes, depending on when this video has been released, the rewrite of Disventure Camp All-Stars is probably almost done in production. It is a 2-hour plus video essay, and has my personal boot order, chink plus, etc., throughout. So stay tuned for that. To answer the second part of the question, not right now. I have tons of subscriber specials and videos overall to finish, and in addition, November / February, I think it's longer now, I wrote the script a lot earlier, but before we knew there's 26 episodes for Disventure Camp Season 2, but it's probably going to be even longer than that, so even if it was a plan, it wouldn't be until a very later month in 2025 it reached any more on the screens. Monster 64 Official, will you consider doing object show content in the future? I would on my second channel. The only thing is I'm not really sure my audience would be too fond of that sort of content. Plus, I do need to catch up on the rest of the BFDI seasons. I've watched most of Inanimate Insanity, so yeah, maybe. And also, I have to be a little less busy so I can actually make time to regularly produce subject show content. Toy Lover 815 asks, are you planning to watch us do other content and other stuff than Disventure Camp? Yes! I'm working on multiple original series behind the scenes, and I want to continue making reality sort content if possible. And with my schedule getting less hectic, if that happens somehow, eventually, I also do want to get back into making total drama content, maybe. But we'll all have to see. Ryan6463 asks, what format would you like to see brought to the animated reality TV show community? Traders, Love Island, etc. Which thank you so much for mentioning that show. For those who don't know what The Traders is, it is sort of a murder mystery-esque reality show. I don't really know how to explain it fully in detail, but I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't. It is awesome. I love that show. Either way, The Traders in this animated reality show trend would be a dream come true for me. Ryan, it's 64/63, the Tiger Blaster 200. Are there any new characters /stereotypes that you want to see in Disventure Camp? Plus any other fan series? Me, 3 specific come to mind. This one isn't fully an archetype, I don't even know what you would call it, but just like somebody who has a normal background, normal everything, like your average daily person, and how they would bounce off from all these characters. Because most of them have really tragic backstories, and I understand why. It makes it a lot more of an interesting character, but just seeing someone normal bounce off all that just sounds like such an interesting idea to me. Maybe a spoiled character too, because I think it could be interesting in direction you take someone who's been so spoiled they don't understand them or something like that. I think that's really interesting to see. And someone like Alejandro join the game, because we haven't had anyone like that level of evil, I would argue, yet. Like, you got Yule, but he's Yule. So I kind of want to just see someone like Alejandro come in, take over, and manipulate the game. Like, something like that. Have you watched, I am a Bubble fan in Blue Cordon asks, have you watched BFDI and have you seen Objects? Yes, I have. I've watched the first season of BFDI in full, and I've watched all seasons of Inanimate Insanity, so any other Objects scenes, I have not seen them, but I hope to watch more soon. I'm a Bubble fan. If so, what's your opinion on Bubble? All I really remember her for is like saying Alliance and being with Pencil/Match 24/7. Granted, I haven't really seen later seasons, and I think she's there, so maybe one day we'll be able to see more of her character than what I do right now. And it's probably because I watched the first BFDI season a while ago, so I don't have too much of a vivid memory of it, so yeah. Anyways, Natalie Beatrice DJ 8771 asks, what couples do you think will be in Reality Resort? Seth and Analyses is the main one I'm thinking. I don't think Sarah/Brad will end up as anything more than a played broken heart. Sorry, Sarah. And I'm hoping Drew/Story becomes something more because, oh my gosh, chemistry, but who knows at this point. Betty Noir Girl 3981, if you have watched all or most of Total Drama, what is your favorite and least favorite season? I have watched all of Total Drama, including the reboot seasons in full. My personal favorite is Total Drama World Tour, and my least favorite is Total Drama All Stars. AXJoeX asks, what is your opinion on Total Drama Ridiculous Race? I love that season. I like the change in the formula from the Story parody to the Amazing Race parody. Personal highlights from the season for me are Noah and Owen/Kitty and Emma. I love Emma. Nema, one of my favorite ships out there in the entire series. The Ice Dancers, the Goss, the Police Cadets, and overall rankings, I'd say 3rd place in the 9th seasons. Starlight Princess Sammy, are you excited for Exotic Escapade? Yes, I am really excited to see how it goes. My top 5 right now from memory are, I know Dahlia's in it, the rest I'm not forgetting because it's been a while since I checked out the cast, but yes. Daniel/TD5GI, is a chicken an animal or a bird? I had to include this peak. Incredible question I was asked. Anyway, since birds are technically an animal, I'd argue that chickens are an animal there. Okay, so there are spoilers for basically most Inanimate the first Inanimate Insanity season, a few seasons of BFDI, and all of DC seasons too, so just skip to whatever timestamps on screen if you don't want to know the winners. Anyways, Trimp1562, how would you rank these winners? 7 Flower, she could be higher, but I haven't seen BFB, so yeah. Anyways, 6/OJ. I thought they were fine. I'm just not the biggest OJ fan. I don't know. Maybe I need to warm up to the win there. I don't know. Maybe it's because II1 is my least favorite season of the Insanity seasons, but 5. Disventure Camp All-Stars. She's a really interesting winner on the surface. I just wish it was executed better. 4. Miriam Disventure Camp Season 1. What really sours her win to me is how she won, especially with how she went bashing everyone for, playing dirty and then she does it herself, so whatever, but otherwise, I think Miriam is still a really satisfying winner and does her job as a winner really, really well. I just wish it was done in a different way. You know what I mean? For her character. Anyways, 3 such fire would be at the eye. One of my absolute favorites is Fiery from the Object for Die. So I was really happy when Fiery won. Anyways, I want to put Fiery higher, but I didn't see the reason, especially with the storytelling. I thought the people in front, James and Gabby, did a lot better. 2 is James from Disventure Camp Season 2. I really like James's redemption arc, and I thought he fit really good for the winner of Disventure Camp Season 2. And I really like the final 2 with the parallels between Rhea and him. I thought that's probably the best final 2 the show's had. Anyways, number 1 is Cappy. Oh my word. I adore them in Insanity Season 3 so much, and though I personally really wanted Balloon to win, seeing Cabby win was also a really nice treat too. Really well done returning winner. Really nice arc for Cabby. Just bravo. Anyways, moving on to the Disventure Camp questions. Flawless Dottie Official / Ola Rainbow / Starco Fans 13 / Blue Corden. If you were in DC, which alliance would you go to, the villains or the heroes? Assuming that I'm just a newbie added into Disventure Camp All-Stars for the flair, I would not be originally invited to the Villains Alliance for that exact reason. And anyways, I would probably start off in the Heroes Alliance if I made it that far. Because, to me, I don't think, I don't know. But I think once I realized who I'm technically in an alliance with, Tom and Jake mess, which I would not want to sit there and deal with. Allie and Jake fighting, or rather than somewhat fun sometimes. Aiden, Aiden isn't that bad, actually. He would probably be somebody I could be fine with sticking around by. And then Ashley just getting eliminated. At that point, I think I would just be done, especially with the fact they aren't being that smart in the terms of the game. To me, I value being smart in the game, and I do not like it when stupid moves are made. So considering I'm around some of the people who made some of the stupidest decisions in the season, yeah, I'd be dipping to the Villains Alliance ASAP. I'd ask to join, and I don't see why they'd say no. So I'd probably be a hero going to the Villains Alliance. I'd probably staying in the Villains Alliance unless I need to flip-flop, or the heroes are willing to let me I don't know, it just depends really on the game, but yeah. Starry Cookies History. If you made it into Disventure Camp All-Stars, which places do you think you'd get? See, since I have something called I would likely get 8th if I managed to merge, because ain't no way I am doing a TikTok. Now then again, it is $3 million. So for somehow we're rolling, my guess is like 6. I think I can make it through pre-merge pretty easily, because I'm not a challenge threat. Socially, maybe a little bit, I don't know, maybe that's, but I'd fly under the radar enough, I think, to where I wouldn't be seen as something to worry about until like the very end or something. Like, compared to the Lakes of the world, I'm not on the physical social level, and then I'm not on the Hunter level of physical prowess or whatever, so I don't think, yeah, I think it makes, anyways. London Hodo EDU 9634. If you were a contestant in Disventure Camp, what would your strategy be? Under the radar. It works way too well in these types of shows. Just look at Aiden and Millie. Additionally, I'm of the opinion that social is always more important than the physical, so I focus on making my social game as great as possible and making as many connections as needed for me to make it go farther. Bunno / aka Bunny. If you were a Disventure Camp helper, who would you help in the finale? For each finale, Ellie, James, Rhea, I am not being a third wheel to the Tom and Jake party. Heck no. Bun Elm / aka Bunny, who do you relate most to Disventure Camp? I'd say Aiden, just because, oh my gosh. Aiden, just because I'm a musical theater kid and I struggle with auditions. So, yeah. Thank you, Aiden, for that. Anyways, Pink Lemonade's 1326. This is a handle / Mayo Kid Straws. Which elimination was most surprising / shocking to you throughout the whole season? Series, oh my gosh. Gabby / Gretz and Disventure Camp All-Stars. Both had a lot of arcs in them. Like, Gabby still had her villain arc, had her other side to go through, continuing having her friendship with Gret, and Gret also had this beautiful winter arc right ahead of her. She really was finally developing to be such a great character in the end from like episodes 14 to further. I can't say that for most other characters, but Gret did. And then both of them got eliminated. Gabby by a TikTok challenge. I will never not be salty about that. And then Gret just got eliminated because Allie had great strategy, but still, I would have much rather seen her in the finale than any of the final 4. Anyways, tying us D3/Pool. Who do you think got robbed the most? I'd say Gabby in the Disventure Camp All-Stars in the TikTok challenge, just because she got out, I don't even think we ever saw them swap phones. I don't even think that was ever happened. And then the shark it happened that way, and that's just so annoying. Or I'd have to say Allie. Look, I don't really like Allie too much. That's just my personal opinion. But dang. She was robbed in that final thing. We didn't even get to see Rhea get the gems. Maybe there's more in season 1 than season 2, but my memory of them is a lot more vague since I haven't fully rewatched them lately, so yeah. In any case, Ola Jamal, Keek, and Rin May 15, Torzama Joseph 146, CC Garrett 2763 LDM, Blue Gordon, what is your favorite episode, in parentheses from each season? By the time this video releases, ranking all episodes may be out, I don't know, but here's my overall favorite episode, along with the seasons. Season 1, episode 5, Season 2, episode 5, Season 3, episode 13, and for the fun of it, BTA/episode 8. As well, my overall favorite episode of all Disventure Camp is Season 3, episode 13. Nishan Awesome 9905, who did you want to win all the seasons? For season 1, I wanted it to be Ellie. For season 2, I wanted it to be James. For season 3, I wanted it to be Gret/Gabby. Total Joseph/Riley7975 Ola Rainbow /Follow Official I'm a Bubble Fan /Bro I'm Already Him Too. Who are your top 5 favorite characters? Disventure characters, one of my favorite characters, least favorite, and why? Alright, top 5 favorite Disventure Camp characters overall. Number 1, Ellie. Number 2, Gabby. Number 3, Fiore. Number 4, James. Number 5, Fuel. My least favorite character is Dan because he has no personality, or barely has one. He does nothing for important other than his Gabby dynamic but that isn't even that good. Floats for 7 episodes and wastes just 5 seconds of screen time that may be used for more important characters or could allow for some much more development. Even characters I dislike sometimes, examples, Allie says, Jake, do something important and meaningful and have personalities, which is more than I'll ever be able to say for Dan, apparently. Anyways, Iron Rhea 11027643 LDM, Blossom Sonic 6712, Quiet 192. Favorite season, least favorite season. My favorite season is Disventure Camp Season 1. Least favorite from that canon lineup is Disventure Camp Season 2. So Disventure Camp All-Stars is right in the middle. CC, Garrett, what is your favorite thing to analyze? I just really like analyzing the episodes mostly. I have fun with trailer analysis sometimes, but it's screenshot after screenshot, and it's hard to figure out at times what the scenes are. I just have fun with the episode analysis and character analysis specifically. It's just really fun to go analyze really deep into the characters, personality, background, etc. Anyways, this is Gret/Valid644. If you could just spin off what are some ideas you would have? Ellie/Gabby focused episode where we see what she's doing after graduating. Maybe she finally makes money as a fashion designer, or Gabby got a job somewhere caring for animals. Fiore focused episode on how their new bond is doing, how they're doing, and how their life will expand in the future. And who knows, maybe Fiore sees the season 4. Aaron was like, that nut's from my old boarding school. I hope she loses. I don't know. Re-episode showing how sad she is, just so it's clear she got her karma to everybody, and trying to push Isha to not follow her path because she wants the best for her sister. Rush Yule episode where we see the two as individual influencers. Now Gret is happier while Yule's stuck in podcast, or even a Yule's Gret backstory one. Yule's backstory seems so interesting and explain why he's this way, and Gret's could be interesting, but it'd be so sad. And Noy Mouse King, who would be the best host of their spin-off series? Ellie/Gabby. I could be biased, true, but from these two, we get more of Tess and Gret, and if we're adventurous, updates on other characters like Drew and Kai, who aren't even in the show. We could even, to all the Tom and Jake fans out there, Tom and Gabby can even have some interactions. Yay! we can also maybe see them reunite. So I don't know. I just think it'd be really interesting to follow their lives. I don't know. I think they're a lot more interesting of a spin-off because they have a lot more interesting characters with them rather than the Tom and Jake. Anyway, my opinion. But Ryan6463, other than Ellie, if you were write a spin-off for anyone, what families I'd explore? I'd want to explore more so backstories, and how mostly they're doing now with the Villains Alliance, like Kuel, Gret, Alec, Rhea, you're right, ignoring Alec. And then maybe for excluding only Ellie here, we can bring Gabby so we can build her character more with Ellie out of the picture for the spin-off. I think the Villains Alliance are some of the most interesting characters of Disventure Camp, so I think it could allow for a lot of potential. DNTV/active add the recommendations guy. If you could write a Disventure Camp season, what would you come up with? Would you make one? I don't think legally wise I can make a Disventure Camp season unless I'm, you know what I mean? I don't think that's possible unless it's like a rewrite or something like that. I don't think. But either way, if I could write a Disventure Camp season, I more so want it to be in the middle of episode count, like 16, with around, maybe like 14. It's just hard to say off the top of my head, but I have a lot of ideas for my own original series. I'm picking up, so yeah. Anyways, Ian Reha 110. Funniest character, Yule. Look, I get he might be an awful person, but he can be the funniest character in the room most of the time. Super Seal 9052. What total drama character do you think would fit best in Disventure Camp? Like a Noah Alejandro, one of the more strategic characters that isn't so blatantly obvious about it. That's why I don't think Heather would do too well, because I think the Disventure Camp characters collectively is a bit smarter than, say, the total drama cast. So I think it's a lot harder in a sense for Heather to make it far, whereas characters like Alejandro, Noah, they have more, so they keep their more strategic side a lot more secretive, so I think they could be easily able to make it really far in the game. Maybe Noah could even make finale, I don't know. Anyways, Betty Noir Girl 3981. What Disventure Camp social drama characters do you think would be best friends if they met? Gabby/AC. Need I say more? Both of them are more environmentally. Both of them have more of a similar personality. I could easily see Gabby and Izzy just having fun and just hanging out, etc., etc. And then Ellie questions everything from the side. Bowie slays. Would you rather be friends with Jake/Allie? Being friends with Jake wouldn't work for me because I cannot pull an Ashley and be a therapist. I genuinely cannot be a therapist every single time I interact with Jake, so that would not work. Nor can I deal of the melodrama of whatever Tom and Jake is now. My mental would never. Allie wouldn't be a bad person to be friends with as long as she doesn't leave me for bear food. Get to be just chilling with her and gaming for a bit. So, I mean, that sounds kind of fun. So, Cyan Wave 810 asks, why did you think that Ellie is going to get a redemption arc when everything is pointing in the opposite? I thought she was one of the most, more redeemable characters simply because I thought she had one of the more morally gray side. And because of that, I think she could be easily redeemed if they wanted to. I didn't see her going to villainous, but I thought she might have going down the villain. I don't know, but mainly it was hope too, because I'm like, I don't want Ellie to get a bad character ending note because she's my favorite, so yeah, mostly biased. So even Queen Girl asks, would you rather Ellie win this Disventure Camp Season 1, Disventure Camp All-Stars, or her original ending? I'd much rather see her win Disventure Camp Season 1, be able to see her more of her chill side in Disventure Camp All-Stars, but also get to see a bit of strategy because it benefited her a lot from the previous season. Your boy Sam, 7613, I'm making my own Dan spin-off series that goes more in depth with his character and gives him character. Would you be interested in giving it a watch when it comes out? I included this question specifically because I wanted to make it clear, I just don't like Dan because he doesn't have a character. See, if he had one, like this commenter is saying they'll make a spin-off for him, I would be all for it. I'd be like, I just want to see Dan have a backstory, have a personality, be more than Purple NPC, Where's Walt, whatever nicknames there is for Dan nowadays. Yep, so yes, that's the answer to the question. Yes. Anyways, Yoshi Xander, Aiden is not a character you like. What is one thing that you wish they did with him to make you somewhat care for him? Honestly, I wish they went more into the musical theater background. As stated earlier, Aiden is the character I relate to the most just because of the musical theater background, since a lot of the other things I don't personally see in my real life with a lot of the characters. I don't know. But in any case, from that, I just wish we get to see more of the musical theater aspect, to see why he struggles with auditions, see all that, because in the end, acting is not easy of an industry to get into, it's not easy to get roles, etc., etc., so I just wish that was more explored, or maybe his entire backstory is explored more, because I'd argue Aiden has one of the most interesting backstories in all of Disventure Camp, but it's literally never mentioned, well, mentioned sometimes, but it's never really explored, and I think that could be extremely interesting. Dylan Johnson 3346. What is your absolute favorite, genuinely positive thing about Rhea? I added this question to the list for all the Rhea outstands out there watching this. Rhea's designs, no matter what, are always stellar, especially Disventure Camp All-Stars. Like, it has to be one of my favorite designs in history of characters. It's just stunning. Anyways, Valid644. Thoughts on Yule? They also added an entire thing about some things about Yule. I really adore Yule. I mean, he's in my top 5. I get he's an awful person, but he's one of the best written Disventure Camp characters for that reason. He is consistent, and though he is a horrible person, he's just so fun to hate that thing. Just to love to hate him. He is such an awful person for that reason, and he's so funny too. Like, most of his jokes, I get some of those jokes are horrible, and I do not. And let me make this clear right here. You can like a character and not support their actions. I really like Yule, and I don't support a thing he does most of the time. So, in any case, I can still really like the character. He's just really funny, too. Like, he'll say the most out-of-pocket things, not the funniest things, and it just works really well. And he was my favorite character for a long time for Disventure Camp Season 2 was airing, so, you know, for that reason, I just really adore Yule, and mostly always have. He's gotten a bit lower on my list because there's only so much I can take of Yule abusing Brent, and that's not very good, even though I don't support that, but you know. There's only so much. Annoying Mouse King, how would you fix Emily? I would try to give her more of a purpose. Like, Emily's main issue in Disventure Camp All-Stars is you could literally remove her from the season, replace her plots with literally basically any of their staff members, and it would remain unchanged. She needs more of an individual purpose, more of an individual character from that. She's a fun character, but without, like, what she needs, like, more of a purpose, it doesn't work. Deadclaw 27, Ellie or Gabby personality. I prefer Ellie's personality just because it's more chill, and I originally hated Gabby, so, you know. Ellie's son and Gabby asks, when did Ellie and Gabby become your favorites? I think Gabby wasn't my favorite became my favorites until Disventure Camp All-Stars. That was a long time ago. But Ellie became my favorite, like, episode 6, I think it was, around that time, but I realized, oh, dang, I did really like this character. She's eliminated. Celebrates in episode 7. Anyways, Naked Stare, what is your biggest wishes for Disventure Camp Season 4? Please be well written. Do not be episode 15 Disventure Camp. I mean, not episode 15, oh my gosh. Episode 18 of Disventure Camp All-Stars the entire time. I am begging you. I cannot take an entire season of Disventure Camp All-Stars episode 18s. I would go crazy. But in any case, I'm also hoping that we get to see maybe a straight couple. Look, I just want to see a healthy straight couple that gets a screen time, because Wishley never got screen time. Maggie and I just want to see one. I just want to see that, because I thought I just want to see that, because I thought it'd be a little cute. I don't know. Maybe I'm asking. Maybe I don't know. That's just what I want to see. Maybe you're in a sapphic couple too, because I just want to see more Gabby and Ellie, and if we get to see another one of those, that's a win in my books. In any case, thoughts on the Season 4 silhouettes? From Twilight 3177. Originally, this question was cut because I did not know how to comment on just the silhouettes of the characters, but in any case, now that we've got some designs, I mostly like them. I mean, I see why they have mixed reception. They're a lot more diverse and a lot more unique rather than the original style, and I like that because it shows the expansion of the style, and there are a few I personally don't like. But in any case, I think they're mostly really good, and I can't wait to see maybe there's even more animation improvement this go around. I don't know, but I do really like the design, silhouette, etc. They're really unique too. You can just like tell what character it is from their silhouette, which from what I know about character design, that's one of the better things about characters. So yeah, JJC1328. Will Disventure Camp Season 4 be well received? It will all really depend on the writing in my eyes. The reason Disventure Camp All-Stars isn't being taken well around the fandom is mainly the writing when it comes to the characters. latter episodes, etc. Nothing else really. So to me, good writing equals well received. If we're in for a more Disventure Camp All-Stars episode 18-esque episodes, we're all done for. And that finishes off the Q&A official too. Thank you so much for your submissions, but we're not done here yet. We've got some tier lists to discuss.
But thanks for worrying about me.
Of course, bestie. I have go back now. See you later.
When it comes to discussing tier lists, there's not going to be any official ranking. I'm just going to go down a list that I have pre-set up. Additionally, when I discuss each tier list individually, I'm going to go over what I like about the tier list, some things I agree with, some things I don't agree with, what I find interesting about the tier list, etc, etc, etc. So alrighty, let's just go around into the first one, which is Cyan Wave 81 Zeros. Gabby and Leek in S tier is just perfect. Also, A tier, James Fiore being there is peak. I find it so funny that Dan managed to make it higher than Ellie, Aiden, Tess too. Anyway, speaking of Tess being so low here is extremely interesting to me because I never see Tess dislikers anywhere. I'm not sure if this person dislikes Tess, but they certainly aren't a fan of her, I think. Yule being in the middle too, I never see Yule in the middle tiers in this fandom. He's either at the top or he's at the bottom of the tier list, and there is usually never an in-between, so it's cool to see that idea here. Overall, I like this tier list. I think obviously I would switch a few things, and you've seen my channel before, you know there are a few things I do strongly disagree with here, but that's completely fine because to each their own, and again, everyone has their own opinions. Moving on to I'm a Bubble Fan's submission, the dedication this viewer had. I just need to shout out that they made a 20-minute video with full explanation for these rankings, and that to me is just insane. Onto the tier list though, those top two tiers are perfection. I adore the name for Ria's tier. Girly really decided to attack Gabby. Does she not know this fan base? Interesting things about this tier list is Emily being the high shows the fact this viewer likely ignores episode 20. I want to do the same, or at least doesn't mind her derailment, and more power to them. James being in neutral as well. I see why now that I'm seeing research people who aren't on the most positive side of his character. I find it so funny that Connor is in dislike after an entire season of just getting his own focus on the latter half of Merge dedication. He could not manage to make it higher. Crystal being so high too is interesting because the Crystal love is non-existent nowadays from what I see. I really like this one. Again, thanks for the full-length video. Luzera 707. Gabby at the top of S tier is just awesome. Love the consistency from the past few tier lists of Gabby being this high. Like there as well is just bravo. The bottom three tiers, C to F, seems like more so the popular opinion of the Daisy fandom from what I've seen / heard, which is cool. I find Kai and Drew being an S tier interesting too, but the love for both characters is awesome. Don't find many Drew and Kai fans, at least recently, or really talking about them since All Stars released around the Disventure Camp fandom. It's cool, especially the early boot adoration along this list. There's not much more to note, but yeah. I love Noah so much. One of my favorite editors, actually, which, crazy. But going on to the tier list, Ellie and Gabby both in S tier? Heck yeah, Gabby has that 4 S tier streak. And Alec at number 1 is so interesting to me. The ability to look past his episodes 14 to 16 run, in my opinion, is just awesome. Dan somehow getting higher than characters like Miriam will never fail to amaze me. Honestly, speaking of Miriam, C tier feels like the usual opinion of the fandom nowadays. I remember around the end of season 1 and the beginning of Disventure Camp All-Stars how popular she was, and now it's averaged, and the Kai fans must have returned for this video because he's an S tier around here. Speaking of S, having Yule there is just awesome, or at least yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyways, anytime I mention Yule, I also need to mention the people can like Yule and not support his actions. Distant A just shows how good his Stat Stories episode was, and all the final 4 of the Disventure Camp All-Stars being in B tier or lower just shows that you're not the biggest fan of this final 4. Anyways, nice tier list. Candy_sweets 5 S tier streak. Let's go. Will Gabby ever break it? Totally not foreshadowing. Ellie and Gabby in the top tiers is so real, and your S tier is just peak 2. I mean, we're seeing Gretton Lake. D and E tier having nobody, and you'll just being an F tier is just hilarious to me. Carol higher than James and Aiden is extremely interesting and intriguing because it's so rare to see people who actually sided with Carol. I did too. I assume this viewer has, and if not, they can correct me in the comments. But her being higher kind of implies it to me. Miriam in C tier again goes back to the popularity spiel, and Jake being an A tier interests me because I feel like most people go for the like Ellie, hate Jake, or the vice versa, and it's cool to see somebody like both of them. Also, Hunter looks so done with everything in this tier list, and honestly, same dude. We are very relatable here on that. And it was also Connor being in lower tier after getting the half season to him, as I said earlier, will always just make me laugh. But awesome tier list, and I agree with most of it. Onto iconically Venus is here submission, but no! Gabby's S tier streak no longer lasts. Anyways, love the bottom tier's name, reference to Derek's line of Disventure Camp All-Stars episode 1. I should not be able to memorize that. So anyways, Crystal being there is interesting. Allie being there, yeah, I see the vision. I hated her for a good while during some episodes of All-Stars. I don't anymore, but still. Moving on to the top tier, I adore how it's Fiore in 3 of the most controversial characters out there in the fandom. Yule being there is so real though. At least Miriam managed to crack a tier that's a bit higher now. Putting Rosa in the middle tier is so real, and honestly, I can agree completely. And the more I see of these tier lists, the more I realize I have a very unpopular opinion about disliking Dan. Tess and Tom in neutral intrigues me a lot because more than most of the rest, I see the vision for Tom, but Tess is like, I'm not sure, but it's chill. Anyways, I also assume that Nick being in B is because of Nicky Dicky Doodah, which is peak. I don't usually watch reactions, but you know, it entertains me. Either way, cool tier list. Love the controversial takes here. Baby Yoda fan 573. Ellie and Gabby being an S tier always means this tier list has got to be somewhat good, and to me, it is. Love seeing James and Lincoln S2. Will somehow being higher than like half the entire cast is way too funny to me. I do think he had a lot of potential. So I see it. Nina in dislike. Oh my gosh, no. It's fine. I think she's one of the funniest. But I do get it because a sentient puppet in a show that's meant to be more realistic or something. And I put that in quotes because it's a cartoon. But you know. I also appreciate the fact that Marcus and Nina are treated in different tiers as different characters because they are. A lot of tier lists don't have that sometimes. Miriam being a neutral, I'd be curious to know if that's from what she did to Ellie or there's more reasoning behind it. I know I keep mentioning Miriam, but I just find it so interesting that the season 1 winner once had the height of popularity and it went down so fast. Ellie in S tier is so interesting to me. I guess her and DCS did have some apologies. Eventually. I like the tier list. Geometry Dash Gamer 83101. This person specifically sent 2 different tier lists, one without BTA and with. So I went with the one with BTA because I thought it added a lot more commentary. There's a lot of interesting here, starting with the top tier. Disventure Camp Season 2, Allie as the best character is wild. Great for you to see the positives in her that season. Since the other 2 of the love triangle and DC2 are here, I'd be interested to know how this viewer wanted them to end up as. I don't know. How BT. I also don't understand how BTA Dan with like 2 lines and BTA got higher than like how many people? Oh my gosh. It's a lot, especially James in season 2. But honestly, it's cool. Speaking of BTA, how did BTA Jake get this high? Excuse me? I cannot physically understand how BTA Jake would be considered a good, let alone great character, let alone an A tier. Don't worry, I completely respect the opinion. I just have a very strong hatred towards BTA Jake. I may eventually make a video just showcasing why I dislike that character so much. Also, this tier list showed me that Crystal and Rhea from Disventure Camp Season 2 have the exact same pose in their cast reveal pictures. Coincidence? I think not. Also, I'm sorry, but BTA Miriam being the best out of all the Miriams is peak, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Just listen to her English voice, the English voice actress for her. I don't think you need any more convincing after that. Anyways, nice tier list, except for BTA Jake again. I completely respect that opinion, but that's just mine. Anyways, CC Gret, such a good top 4 here. Love how Alec and Fiore are right next to one another, but Derek over James? Interesting take. The bottom 2 tier names are so real just with no, and can't tell you, especially especially for Rhea, because where do you even start with her specifically? Connor in Could Be Better is so darn funny to me, because even after... I need to stop. Why was this repeated so much in there? Anyways, characters being ruined just for him. He still ends up not being too high. It's either way, cool tier list. There's not much more to know for me, because to me there's a lot of positivity. I really appreciate that, but also it's just really average to me. I don't know how much more to know rather than appreciate the little appreciation here. Nice. Anyways, Derek's name tag, Drew being number 1. I never see Drew discussed anymore around here, but that's awesome. Yule there is just so base too, as he should. Ellie and Gabby in S tier is where it's at. Nina too, love the respect for entertainment. Also, all the unique names for the tiers adds a bit to me. Anyway, I don't know what will ever do to warrant such a strong cast debate. But Emily, I see it. Canceling episode 20 Emily, not the true Emily. There's a lot of positivity overall in this tier list, which again, like the previous one, I can appreciate and respect that. It's really good. Also, I am interested to know. I like seeing Gret and love them. I don't know what more to say. I think it's interesting she's not near the top, because I feel like a lot of tier lists nowadays, Gret is one of the most popular characters, I'd say, at least after DCAS, because compared to all the other characters in the ladder merge, she looked like she was the best character in the entire series at that rate. But either way, it's good. Jake Hunt 424. I'm just gonna take a moment just to appreciate how cool this tier list looks. Like, these icons are awesome. I'm gonna have to start using this one myself. Either way, this is such an interesting tier list to me. From here, using Stan and A tier is something, but gotta respect that awesome top 4, and Yule, of course, being in a decently high tier. Top being this high also interests me because, like, after DCAS, I think he's more mixed, or at least not truly as popular as he was before in the fandom. I don't know. Also, the fact the only tier his name with a name is Rhea just truly shows how Rhea is not liked at all, sometimes more controversial, or rather, we can also see it as how bad Rhea was in that season. Yay! C tier has a few interesting takes, like Tess in there, but I think it's a nice tier list overall. I think we all know there's a few things I would switch, like an earlier one, but either way, it's cool. Perfect opinion. Anyway, Super Seal, 9052, tons of characters in S. That's great for you, and I adore that both Ellie and Gabby are in S2. Rhea getting her own tier below even bad truly shows Rhea's convert to a T, and really just shows how for me, there's not really much to say, because this seems like a more popular tier list, or what I would argue is how most of the fandom feels about most of these characters. Again, not generalizing it, but like, this is the average opinion seed there, and overall. Again, more Little Adoration is cool, and Hunter being decently high. I wonder if that's from DC Season 2, DCAS. Either way, interesting. Despite me not being too much of a fan of Hunter, he was cool in All-Stars. It's Parental Drama Stand. First, full name mention here with the tier list. Yes! Gabby this time is also awesome, along with Ellie, and more the Crystal up. Maggie is also decently high here. Dang, that's great for the few Maggie fans out there. Honestly, that's higher than she's ever been in the tier list. Oh my gosh. Gotta respect that. The way half of this cast is all in the hatred tiers is just wild. But I gotta ask, what did Derek Trevor do to deserve the loathe tier? Oh my gosh. Marcus, 2. Nick, 2. I could probably ask this question for basically everybody and dislikes the loathe tier, but it's completely fine. Respect that opinion. So, at its 8, tier list goes on to, we're back at it with even more unique tier lists. Gotta ask, where are y'all finding all these? Where are they existing in tiermaker.com? When Gabby, Ellie are on the top 5, it's a great top 5. And Dan in 7th. Also, what did Will ever do is my question. What am I missing from the first 2 episodes to understand the visceral hate for Will? One day. Same goes for Maggie, actually. I mean, I understand she wasn't the most interesting character on screen. She never was. But a complete and utter hate. A lot of interesting takes here, especially with Carol being higher than the season 1 winner. It is wild. Again, I respect that, but Nice tier list overall. Moving on to Lobenbo 7430. First off, I'm just gonna start by the bottom tier because get off my screen right now, I despise you with Rhea. It's so real sometimes. Sometimes she is just so annoying, and beautiful tier right there. Beautiful tier list right there. Connor as the best character. That's so rare to me now. I guess at least the DCAS ladder merch focus worked for some people. And the fact that 2 of my top 5s are in mixed feelings, it's completely fine. I see where it lands with both of those 2. They aren't the most, they can definitely be dislikable sometimes. I also find it extremely interesting that Kai and Maggie are this high. Awesome to see the love for both of those characters because you don't see that very often. And Jensen in number 2, Dick, how much did the spinoff really help his character? Because I did not think it was that good, but at least he got him closer to that rank. Nice tier list overall, especially that bottom tier. Moving on to Bubblegum. I cannot pronounce this, okay? Bubbly Gummy Gum Gums. To work on my pronunciation skills, but either way, I love SSSSS plus tier because, and I love how it's the only time we see BTA Gabby, and BTA Gabby, every Gabby's the best. You've understood it. I like Ellie more as a character, but Gabby's still awesome. Anyways, in S tier, Ellie's even second. Wow. Perfect. And Alec and Fiore as the next best. Oh, we are getting a win with this one, guys. This is a winning tier list right here. Aiden and Esma. I haven't really mentioned Aiden yet much because I understand why he's liked. I understand it. I just personally don't agree because I think he's too bland. But that's just my take, my personal takes. Yule and F is expected. Emily and D tier. Yeah, we blame them. Derek being that low is interesting. Maybe I see it, but I don't see it in the end. I love how Dan's picture is, a few of these pictures are much more enlarged than the others. And also Dan looks like he's staring into my soul. If this is not... Oh my gosh. Either way, this is a nice tier list overall. I like it, and especially the top few tiers, that's just perfection to me. I wouldn't really change much in this overall, at least for the top tiers. Moving on to Caden Total Drama Submission. As we see here, Alec is in the top tier, which, I don't like Alec as much as some people, but I do think he's easily in my top 10, so there's that. Ellie is number 3. Yes! Yes, I really like that. Either way, I don't know how we just have a break between dislike, and then you just got hate. Marcus and Nina. I'd be curious to know if there's either, hates Nina, or hates Marcus, or it's just both of them. They just hate this. I'm not sure, but either way, that's interesting to me. I love how Jake's at the very top. I'm sorry, but if after Disneyland, an entire season, you still are stuck in that low of a tier, it's a wild to me. I also really find the rest of their love tier very interesting with the Connor. Yule being there is so, yes. Gret there is also awesome. I really like this tier list overall. I think average is also interesting too, just to see Gabby, Tess, Lake there, all 3 of those? How did Dan manage to get that high? That's cool. Maybe if Dan gets eventually some development and some character, he can be somewhere near, top 20. That's being gracious. Either way, again, nice tier list. Moving on to Starlight Princess Sammy. Oh my gosh, a peak final 3. Well, not peak final 3. Peak top 3 in the tier list. Yes, I love that. And then we go all the way to the bottom. I cannot read that because my glasses wearing self cannot see the text. But either way, I'm guessing it says something, and Yule clearly is not very liked in this one specifically, which makes sense. Yule, I don't know much more to say on that. Either way, Dan higher than Gret? Dang! I completely respect that opinion, but I wonder how much the ladder merge of DCA has changed that opinion. I wonder if it's just season 1 Gret not be. I'm curious to see what the thought process behind Gret's placement was. And Will above James? And with Fiore too? That's something. I completely respect the opinion. I just find it extremely interesting how Will is I do see the likability of Will, but being this high, I'm losing words right now, but I don't know. More Maggie and Kai appreciation. This is probably the most Maggie appreciation I've ever seen. So congratulations to you, Maggie. Awesome job. Moving on to the next submission, which is from Disventure Camp Gab Ellie. Peak username, by the way. Ellie being in the top, having her own tier, and let me see this. Gabby being second. Alright, we're done here. This is the best tier list yet. Alright, guys, moving on to jokes aside. I love how every tier is named in caps, then the only one emoji is Yule. So much the viewer hates Yule, which is fair. I mean, seeing how he is. In terms of production, I find it so interesting that Trevor is the highest in like all of these, which is probably because how he took over the Disventure Camp All-Stars production at the time. Rhea and Allie being an A is so controversial, and I respect that. Jake having his own terrible tier as well. Duke is an entire 20. Yeah, I've said that multiple times, but yeah. Awesome tier list, by the way. Would never say that just because the top two. Total Drama Joseph 146. Another new tier list. We are continuing with these unique designs. Nevertheless, Gabby having her own tier in LA top 5 is awesome. This also has a lot of positive towards it, like there's only one active negative tier. Think the world Dan is lower. I feel like my opinion is invalidated now with that one. Also, my guess that Oliver is lower on this tier list because he snitched. That's all I did in Disventure Camp All-Stars. Being a snitch. No, snitches get stitches. Regardless, also the fact that Hunter is higher than the protagonist of all of Disventure Camp All-Stars. Zoe, my queen girl. I think most of you can guess what the grade tier says, so there's no need to explain why it is not fully shown. Either way, adore Haley, Gabby being at the top, and me personally, I would never put Rita that high, but I fully respect that. I think this is the highest I've ever seen Maggie on a tier list until we've seen the others, and she's even high. But either way, it's just cool. I don't know. I don't know if that's sad or how she... I just like to see the Maggie appreciation for what is one of the most unpopular and most unliked characters in the entire fandom. But I hate for her not being here. But higher than B or A. I gotta ask though, what did Connor do? Like, again, he wasn't the best in this Disventure Camp All-Stars. That's fair. But I don't know if he deserves to be this low. Also, dang, Alec is not doing too well through episode 16. I need to just understand more of where these characters went wrong, I assume. But either way, it's a cool tier list. Alrighty, let's just move right on to the conclusion. If your tier list was not mentioned here and you would like me to give me your thoughts on that tier list, just leave a comment and I will go to the post, or I can reply to you in the comments. I do again apologize if it wasn't included. I had to shorten the list a bit to what it even was before because, again, like 50, I did not expect as many submissions as I got. Either way, let's move right on to the conclusion.
But thanks for worrying about me.
Of course, bestie. I have go back now. See you later.
Take a second to just thank you all. I did not think I'd ever be at a point where not only I would be able to ask tons of questions and be able to make a video this long with your questions, submissions, and having to even cut down on that's crazy, and I really do appreciate the support. But anyways, thank you so much for watching today's video. I would love to read your thoughts on both Disventure Camp, maybe some other tier lists we're gonna read. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again on the channel. Bye, everybody!